In this video, I'm sharing my journey as a petpreneur so that you can believe that achieving your goals is possible. What they don't tell you about working for yourself is that it can be awfully lonely. Most of our friends, our family, and significant others don't get what we're even thinking or feeling, and they usually don't even understand what we do. They might think that we're crazy for opening a pet business, and they sometimes belittle our decisions or can even resent the business for taking us away from them. So where do you turn when you have questions? How do you know if you're running a successful business? What do you do when your competitor is frustrating or worrying you? Sometimes we sit in that anxiety for too long, or that worry and procrastination, because we have these big decisions looming over us and no one to talk about it with. Well, fortunately, there is a better way, especially when you work with us. You see, I've owned pet businesses since 2004, and I have faced a lot of challenges. What I so desperately needed back then that didn't exist years ago was a community like Pet Boss Nation. So I created it. Pet Boss Nation is a support system of industry peers who believe in community over competition. We have easy to follow courses so that you know exactly how to run a better business. And you get some one-on-one time with me to feel empowered and confident when facing your challenges. In this video, I'm sharing my journey as a petpreneur so that you can believe that achieving your goals is possible. You'll also have a better understanding of what sets Pet Boss Nation apart from other gurus, mentors, and coaches in our space. And I'll toss in some of the secrets that made my successes possible. Hi, my name is Candace Daniolo, and I'm the CEO and founder of Pet Boss Nation. And I'm also a pet business coach. I help thousands of pet business owners improve their marketing, increase their sales, and become better employers so that they can meet their financial goals and have a life outside of their business. Before I share my road on how I got there, I want to make sure that you don't miss my free pet business guide in the description below so that you can get a taste of what it's like to work with me. Now, I've had successes in multiple pet businesses, and sometimes I get asked what that means. I've also run multiple at the same time, 3 different locations at the same time, with 5 different revenue streams at the same time, which you'll hear about in a minute. And while statistically 50% of small businesses fail by their 5th year, I've successfully exited and sold multiple businesses with a significant profit 3 times. Not to toot my own horn, but that's rarely heard of. Don't get me wrong, it definitely wasn't easy, but how I achieved these things is now what I teach to our Pet Boss Club members. You know, I also get asked why people should believe that I can help them. I mean, what kind of success have I seen? This is why I want to share my journey with you so that you can make the right choice if working with me is right for you. Because it's important that you find a coach who you feel connected to, inspired by, and who has seen success in the business avenue that you are running too. So here's my almost 20 years of working in the pet industry condensed into a few minutes. Stick with me now. I'll make sure to drop some of those secret sauce tips too, okay? You see, back in 2004, I ran a doggy bakery business with a college girlfriend called Galloping Gourmets. We had a storefront in Chicago, plus built out an entire wholesale business for our treats. We had a wide selection of plain and frosted natural cookies, as well as doggy ice cream, and we were the go-to place in the Chicagoland area for canine birthday cakes. We exhibited at big industry trade shows and found wholesale accounts, as well as serviced many individual retailers across the US. Our wholesale revenue reached about $100,000 a year. Now, due to some different direction that the ownership wanted to go, we ended up selling the business. And I reinvested my cut into what became Dogaholics. So Dogaholics was solely mine, and the first summer that I had it, I popped up a little shop and sold at fairs and markets every single weekend that summer. I would collect their email addresses to build my list. And then when I opened a pet boutique with some self-wash tubs in 2006, I did it in a very popular shopping district in Lincoln Park. Because of what I learned in my previous business, I hit $600,000 in revenue in that first year. I mean, I couldn't believe it because my storefront was also half underground. I mean, that really shows you that location is critical. I eventually hired groomers and stopped offering the self-wash. And a year later, I decided to go back to the bank to get another business loan so that I could expand. An important detail I left out was that I was only 24 when I got into the industry, 26 when I opened Dogaholics, and that year later I'm thinking I'm gonna get another loan again to keep expanding. Ugh, I wish I could have seen the red flags ahead, but I didn't. So once that bank loan was approved, I opened my second pet boutique and grooming salon on Southport Avenue near Wrigley Field. I even lived above the business. And oh my goodness, there were lots of mistakes made in this expansion because my systems and my processes, they weren't documented at all. And now I had more team because I couldn't be at both places full time. So this caused a ton of confusion and stress and chaos within the company. But hey, that didn't stop me because I started expanding once again. Due to some long-term construction issues that were going to be beginning next door to me, I knew that I had to move my retail store to a new space, but I couldn't get out of the lease that I was in. So I ended up getting another loan and turned the current space that I was in into a doggy daycare and moved the retail store to the other side of the block. Well, brilliant at the time, since our retail sales actually jumped an extra $5,000 that month because we moved to a more visible space. But it definitely took longer to get that doggy daycare off the ground than I had imagined. Much longer. And I'll have to save those stories for future videos. Now, fast forward a couple years and we finally got our groove. We began to offer dog walking services since some of those dogs didn't pass the assessment test for the daycare. And we also started offering boarding once I moved out of that second floor. So now though, I was only 28, maybe 29. I was $400,000 in bank debt, 3 storefronts, paying insane Chicago rents. One was even $12,000 a month. I had 30 employees and I was truly struggling. There still weren't very many processes documented. I was at a breaking point, not just because of that chaos, but because the 2009 recession hit, and to top it off, I had a manager who was stealing money from me. My health, my wealth, and my marriage were all suffering as a result of those years. They pretty much completely fell apart. I lost all of it. I gained, I think, 30 or 40 pounds, had about $0 in the bank account, and I got divorced. So that was my what the hell am I doing moment. Do I file for bankruptcy? Do I literally just run away? It was hard. I knew that if things were ever going to change, or if I was going to survive all of this, I had to change. No one was coming to save me. No one could change my situation but myself. And that's when I started investing in professional development and learning the science side of business, all the numbers and the financial stuff. Plus, I had a lot to learn about being a better leader, improving my communication style, and finally documenting all my processes. So if you're still following me, I know you were like, why am I gonna listen to this lady? She had all those problems and it was a total mess. I don't wanna follow her. Well, guess what? I figured my stuff out and I ended up having huge successes. And now I help you not go through all that pain and struggle so that you can see success faster. And here's that part of the story. So from 2011 to 2014, I really got to work and I advanced our company because I was investing time and money into myself in that CEO role. And I invested money in the right areas of my business. And in those years, I ended up closing one of the retail locations that was really slow. I improved our inventory flow. I doubled the revenue at our boutique that we did keep open. We grew the dog walking business to 7 full-time walkers, and our doggy daycare was thriving with over 80 neighborhood dogs coming to see us. And that insane bank debt was finally going down. And during those years, I also adjusted my pricing structures significantly to maximize profit, and I focused even more on financials, growing the revenue, and investing in the right team to run the business. So by 2016, when I sold our retail assets of Dogaholics to Bentley's Pet Stuff, a Marcus Lemonis company, who is the face of the TV show CNBC's The Profit, our company was running like a well-oiled machine. I was taking a 6-figure salary, I was traveling around the world multiple times a year, and the business as a whole pushed over the multiple 7-figure mark in revenue. I mean, I never thought that that was possible. Never. I mean, there were months where our checking account was overdrawn. There were years I never took a vacation. There was so much debt. I mean, I couldn't believe that once I started to apply some business principles and know-how and show up very differently in my company, the type of changes that would happen. I mean, that investment in myself and into my education ended up having this insane ripple effect, not just through my life, but also now in the pet industry. You see, shortly after that sale to Bentley's Pet Stuff, I began developing Pet Boss Nation, all while leading my team at our doggy daycare and boarding facility down the street, which now had over about 100 dogs a day. I loved our customers and our team there. We had so much fun. The growth that we experienced was unimaginable to me. I just am so glad that I didn't give up in those early years to the pressures of a small business. And in 2020, a week before the pandemic closures hit the US, I signed the papers to sell Dogaholic Service Center to Destination Pet. I was certainly born under a lucky star, I know that for sure. And it allowed me to show up in a big way for our community when everyone was in panic and struggling. And that deal, selling the rest of Dogaholics, changed my life financially. It allowed me to be 100% committed as well to our clients and serving small business owners all over. At Pet Boss Nation, we now have hundreds of pet business owners in our group coaching program called the Pet Boss Club. I speak at many of the pet industry trade shows, sharing how I've overcome those struggles. I write for industry magazines and have a pet industry podcast that's now ranked in the top 3% of all podcasts globally. I share all of this because this is all of the things that set me apart and our company apart from other coaches and consultants in the pet industry. I have been in your shoes. I have faced some of your same struggles, and I have pushed through to see success beyond what I thought was even possible. And because of my experience in all these different niches, I provide a holistic approach to business advice, and I help you diversify your income streams so that not all your eggs are in one basket. And because I have climbed out of having $400,000 in debt, I fully understand managing your cash flow, how to make better financial decisions, and generating more revenue. And I teach this all the time to our clients. I am an open book. I share the good and the bad because I want my clients to understand that no matter what you're going through, there is always a better way. And I share it all because I want you to learn from my mistakes so that you can see success faster with us than by struggling alone. If you need help with revenue, operations, employees, or taking time off, our programs will help you. I would love to hear if my story resonates with you, so please let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to connect with me to learn more about our program, the Pet Boss Club, please visit petboss.com. I'll see you in the next video.